I recently did a purge of my record collection, and yes, I lived to talk about it. Today I want to tell you about the experience and what I learned, and maybe, just maybe, give you some food for thought. All that and more coming up next. Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to Sundays on channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl gear and more. As I said at the top, we're talking about this purging of the record collection. It wasn't a huge purge, it was like 150 records. And if you missed it, I did a video where I showed you those records. I will leave a link to that one below this video. I gotta tell you, I'm feeling really good about this. It's kind of like, it's like your diet. If you have too much, a little bit of fat in your diet is a good thing, but too much fat is no good for anyone. It's kind of, sort of the same with your record collection, if I can compare excess records to fat. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this.
Channel 33 RPM.
So this was interesting. When I did that first video talking about downsizing, I got a bunch of comments from you guys, which range from, this is a really good exercise, to like, hell is going to freeze over if you do this, Frank. I'll just pull up a few of the, a range of these comments. So, Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector wrote, the question is, are you a collector to amass a great collection, or are you a collector to listen to what you have? I'm in the second category and have thinned out the herd a couple of times. Good luck. Toronto John, Frank, I've got way too many records too. It's always on my mind regarding when I'll find the time to listen to all of those records. It becomes more and more of a concern the older one gets. You and I are of a similar age, and that's totally true. That was kind of my inspiration for doing this. I had more records than time. For the record, Brian wrote, I downsized a couple of years ago and now I honestly can't remember what I even got rid of. Guess that's a sign I did the right thing. 7 Janeway wrote, I thinned out my record collection some years ago, but I ended up rebuying several of the albums I had gotten rid of. After that experience, I decided that I wouldn't go through that again. Daryl Fisher, yeah, Frank, just you wait. You're gonna want to hear that one someday, and it's gonna be out of print. Tom Kelly, I've never heard of anyone downsizing their record collection that didn't regret it later, unless it was purging duplicates. So these are all legitimate and all good points. This hasn't been my first purge of the collection. I've done it 2 or 3 times. I'm not talking about like a mass purge. I'm talking about, you know, if you have over 1,000 records, about 1,500 records, I'm sure all of us have 10% of our collection that we could probably purge and not think twice about. So kind of like that one comment I just read you from For the Record, those other purges I did, I honestly, for the most part, can't remember what I sold. There maybe are a handful that kind of maybe wish I still had, but I always think like I did something with that money, so it was worth it. I didn't just buy big gulps and Slurpees and potato chips with it. I reinvested in the collection and bought more stuff. I've also sold a lot of gear over the years. Maybe some of the gear I might have a little bit more regret getting rid of, but then I think, well, selling that enabled me to buy this other piece of gear. So ultimately, I would think that even that was worth it. Anyway, back to this purging. I got my computer here, so I've been able to work, my day job, work down here. And as I'm working, I listen to records and I kind of go through them, and I discovered a lot I hadn't heard in a long time. And I went through some of those, and some were like, my God, this is great. I got to keep it. And other ones, I figured I wouldn't really miss. I put those in a pile, and those are the ones I sold. Like ultimately, I never counted. There's maybe 150, 200. I'm still kind of going through the list. I keep a database of all my records. I'm kind of nerding, right? I got to go through the database and take the ones I sold. Let's say there was 150. So I priced them all. I used Discogs sort of as a barometer. I didn't want to be in a situation where I was selling like a $50 record for $2. I just made made sure I knew what I was selling. But I didn't necessarily sell at Discogs prices. When you're talking about Discogs, that is a worldwide marketplace. I'm not selling to a worldwide marketplace. I'm selling to a community, my community. And so I took the average Discogs price, and there was no magic formula. I played it by ear, but subtracted maybe 10% from that, 15%. I priced them all accordingly, and I placed an ad on Facebook Marketplace and on the local vinyl selling group. I took a picture of the boxes in the garage, had the list, and I put the title on. It was like metal, rock, punk records for sale. And I got to tell you, the reaction was immediate. I put it on a Sunday afternoon after I posted that last video, and honestly I had to stop responding to emails because there was just too much, and people want you to hold this, and it gets out of hand. So at the end of the day, I had 4 guys come over, and over the course of 4 hours, I sold 90% of those records. And people said, was I nickel and dimed? Did I feel ripped off? And the answer is no, not at all. I thought I thought I priced my records reasonably, so there was no nickel and diming. People were really good at that. If people bought a bunch of records, I would bundle it and give a bundle price as well. People asked me what the most expensive record I sold was. It was actually a 12-inch EP or a maxi single by a Canadian band called Tragically Hip. It was a UK press, and I had it priced for $65, and it sold for $50. I was pleasantly surprised that one sold, and the guy who bought it was really happy because it is a pretty rare record, but one that I never listened to, so I felt good passing it on to someone who was really happy to own the copy of it. The other thing, these things going on. The other thing, the records that sold first, and this should be no surprise, was the metal, because I got a lot of comments from viewers saying, hey man, can you sell me that record and ship it to me in Nebraska or Australia or wherever you are? But all the ones people wanted sold right away. The metal went first. Even like Anvil and Manowar got gobbled up really quick. Iron Maiden, Accept, all that stuff. So there is still a real hunger and demand for heavy metal records out there. Reasonably priced heavy metal records. I mean, the other thing too in those comments, again, talking about regrets, I did not sell anything that had sentimental value to me. It didn't, the first records I ever bought, records that were given to me, records I absolutely love, even if I don't listen to them too often. No, I didn't sell any of that stuff. I got a comment from someone saying, hey Frank, you better not sell any records that Channel 33 RPM viewers have given you. And of course not. I would not sell. That stuff is coming to the grave with me, so I have all that stuff in the collection. So again, nothing with any real strong sentimental value went. That stays right here. So the other thing, what did I do with the money? First thing I did, I said I was going to do this, is I bought my Technics SL1200 MK2 turntable. According to the serial number, it's a 1999. It's a beauty. I love it. It looks great. Solid machine, and that thing is built like a tank. I will have more for you on my Technics in an upcoming video. So, given all this, what did I learn from this experience? I guess the first thing I learned about myself, and this probably applies to many record collectors, in this whole exercise of going through my collection, I learned that sometimes I was buying records for the sake of buying records, if that makes any sense. You just, this odd thing where you just want more records on your shelves, but a larger collection does not necessarily mean a better collection. So I've made a conscious decision this year to really exercise some restraint when buying records, and buying what I know I'm going to listen to multiple times, and really thinking twice before buying records. Otherwise you end up in this situation where you have, again, more records than time. So For me, anyway, there's a lot more value in having a carefully curated collection where I love every record on those shelves rather than having a ton of records and not actually having an opportunity to listen to them all. All right, dear 33ers, those are my thoughts on this record sale I had. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and let me know if you would do something like this. Let's have a conversation. Remember, if you dug today's video, leave a quick thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, my man, what are you waiting for? Hit that button, hit that bell, all that good stuff. Otherwise, dear 33ers, I hope each and every one of you has a fantastic week. Until next time, keep on spinning.